Now, the filing of the petition was postponed today, but tomorrow is the deadline, and court must file it, shifting the attention from the coalition to the Supreme Court. KTN's Sophia Wanuna now takes us through the process of filing a petition at the highest court in the country.
The Supreme Court. Of course, we were expecting the court team to come here and file their petition. They did not. We saw that press conference that was covered by Sam Ogena giving their reasons. They chose strategically to hand in their petition tomorrow. So now we're inside the Supreme Court buildings, and I'm now going to take you to the registry. It is also here that tomorrow the court team will be bringing in their petition, the Supreme Court registry. And inside this registry there are various counters where they will be bringing in their documents. There's a receiving documents counter, there is a verification counter, as well as a fee assessment, as well as other counters around this registry. I'm now joined by Anne Asuga. She is Deputy Registrar here at the Supreme Court. Thank you very much for joining us. So first, my first question to you is what are the requisite documents for a presidential petition?
Thank you very much for having me. Welcome to the Supreme Court Registry. When we receive the petition from the petitioners, it must conform to certain guidelines set out by the Supreme Court Presidential Petition Election Rules. And the petition must come in 8 copies, bound. It must contain an affidavit signed by the people petitioning. And if there are more than one petitioners, they may authorize one person to swear their affidavit on their behalf. The petition must also be numbered consecutively, and it must be signed by the petitioners themselves or their duly appointed advocates. Okay. Yes. I've
seen a fee counter as well. There's a cashier counter. Is there some payment they're making?
Yes, there are some payments that they are making. We incur costs, and they incur costs. To file a petition in the Supreme Court, a presidential election petition, you need to have filing fees of 500,000 shillings, and you must deposit security for costs of 1,000,000 shillings. On top of that, there are miscellaneous expenses for annexures that you put to your affidavit, so you must pay for those as well.
All right, so they come here and they file their petition. Between that time and when the judges in the Supreme Court begin hearing that petition, what happens?
Once the petition is filed, the petitioner, after we receive and clear it and stamp it, has 3 days to file to serve the respondents. The respondents are the people who are being sued. And once the respondent receives the petition from the petitioner, they are supposed to respond within 3 days. And if they're not going to they're not opposing the petition, they file a notice of no opposition to the petition within the same timeline, 3 days. After the 3 days the respondent has filed, the registrar is supposed to notify the Kenyan public and through the Kenya Gazette within 3 days of filing. The registrar must also notify the IEBC that a petition has been filed, and must also circulate the petition through the media of wide circulation. On the 9th day after filing, the registrar sends out notices of what we call a pre-trial conference. This is just a sitting where the parties agree on issues for determination by the court, and they just want to shorten the period and agree this is what we are going to discuss, or this is what we are going to, this is what is going to trial. So iron out issues during the pre-trial conference. That is done on the 9th day after the filing of the petition.
All right, so there is a pre-trial conference you've mentioned there, but in the event that the respondents delays in terms of responding, of course, after they've been served by the petitioners, what happens?
Usually in normal cases, respondents would file for extension of time. But remember, the 14 days are constitutional timelines. They're almost non-negotiable. But a matter of extension or not would be a matter for the court to determine.
Thank you very much, Anne Asuga. We appreciate your time and your comments on those very important questions. We have been talking to Anne Asuga. She's the Deputy Registrar here at the Supreme Court, taking us through the timelines, what we expect after a petition is filed, and also what exactly happens here and the requisite documents for a presidential petition. So that is done. This is where we'll all be happening tomorrow. The court team has said that it will be coming here. We will wait to see about that. But now it's really about after the judges, the Supreme Court judges led by the President of the Supreme Court and Chief Justice Willie Mutunga hear that petition. There's that 14-day deadline by which they must determine the petition. Then it's all about where and how the scales of justice will tilt.